Well, guys, I'm gonna try to get this to focus. I don't know if you can see that groove right there in my ball. You can see another one kind of here. Now that's the middle one, but there's also scratches on the side. This bowling alley I'm at today, the ball return that we had really scratched this up, and it's just actually dug grooves in the ball. Now, luckily, I talked to them. They're very kind. They apologized. The move was to a different lane, and they said at the end of the day, they're going to have their pro shop see if they can repair that and kind of buff it out for me. But you guys got to inspect your balls. You also got to not fall when you go to throw it. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the New Creation Bowling channel. This is the channel where I try to go from total amateur to whatever it is that I can get to. Now, if you've been watching my last videos, you know that I've been working on my bowling release, and I just bought this new bowling ball, and I've been kind of having some troubles with it. You know, it's just not clicking in my brain. There's some things that you try and you work on, and you don't really understand them until one day they just kind of click, and then all of a sudden you can do it. I want you to think of when you were a kid and you were trying to learn how to ride a bike. It's kind of the same way, right? You fell and you fell and you fell until one day your body just kind of figured it out, and then it just made sense to you. You could just all of a sudden, 1 minute you couldn't ride a bike and the next minute you can. Well, I kind of had a situation like that come up with bowling. Now, I've been really struggling, especially if you've seen the last video. I was trying to challenge myself. I was working on my release. I was trying to get to 200. I didn't get anywhere even close to that. And I just kept running into the same problems. Now, there was a comment from one of you that I'll post right here. You recommended that I go watch people that have my bowling style, the 2-finger, no-thumb bowling release. And so I got deep into YouTube. And let me tell you, I have been watching a ton of footage, and I appreciate your comment and your advice because, you know what, I really needed it. Now, one thing that I have noticed watching all of these YouTube videos, not just people with my release, but with everybody, is they all kind of say the same things, especially when you're talking about trying to hook a ball. They will say and talk about something called the handshake method or the suitcase method. It's essentially how I have been bowling and what I have been trying to do away with, which is throwing the ball and coming around the top of it or coming around the side. Now, what this does is this kind of pushes the side of my fingers against the ball, and that's really what's given me the rotation. Is it's the side of my finger, not the palms of my finger. And everybody said that this was wrong, that this was bad, but this is how I have been bowling. Now, I've watched releases and I've slowed it down and I've tried to make sense of it all, and I couldn't really find any videos that really gave a slowed down close-up view of this to see exactly what's going on. So that's what I am hoping to do with you today. And so let's move down to the floor and let me show you, what I have been working on and kind of what I have discovered. Let me show you the light bulb moment that I have had this week. Okay, here we are. I'm sure everybody's looking at me because I'm sitting on the floor of the bowling alley trying to do this. So I am a technical kind of guy. I want to see things close up and slow down. And so I've been doing some drills, which are some of the things that was recommended in the video. And I was sitting at home and I pulled out another ball that we had in the house. So just a plastic ball like this, essentially a house ball. This is a house ball from the bowling alley. And it's a lot lighter than the one that I am used to, than the ball that I bought. And so I was just trying to replicate, okay, my release. And so I've been kind of working back and forth and coming across the top of it. And so I'm watching as I come across the top, and the ball does some unique things. Now, sometimes it gets a little bit of a spin, like so, but a lot of times I notice it more spins like a top. I come around and look at that. Oh, I hope that stays on camera. It's not really rolling away, it more gets into a spin. Now, so much so that if I had enough room and just let this ball go, it would probably do a big loop and come back to me because it's spinning. It's doing this. That's the problem with coming around the top. Now, what I want to do is I want to do that, right? I want to come down below it. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can get a different angle. I want to come down and kind of with my fingers cause that flick. Now, what I am hoping to accomplish here with that is, see that? It spins, and the axis from the ball, if I was going to bowl it straight and get perfectly behind it, goes just like that. However, if I get kind of on the side of it a little bit and I get that flick with my fingers, that ball, it's not going that way, it's actually going that way. It's going here. Now, of course, that relates to a hook towards the end of the lane, right? It skids, and when it hits the dry, it hooks and it straightens out, and hopefully we get strikes that way. Now, let me get my ball. Let me show you what I am struggling with. Okay, here we are with my freshly drilled ball. I've only had it a few weeks, and the guys at the pro shop, they measured my fingers, and I picked a set of grips, and I thought, okay, that feels pretty good. However, I've never bought a bowling ball before. I have never owned a ball with grips in it before, and I have no idea what I'm actually feeling for. And so here's my problem, is when I go to do that with this, see that? It's so tight, and I'm going to do that slow. My fingers aren't easily coming out of that ball. And so all this time that I have been bowling and saying, man, I'm really having a hard time, maybe I should have got a lighter weight, having a hard time handling it, I can't get it to do what I want, the ball doesn't hook the way that I want. Well, it's partly because when I try to come up behind it and kind of flick with my fingers like I could with the house ball, like I have been trying to do, it's a little tight and my fingers don't come out easily. So what I do naturally, so I don't hurt myself when I bowl, I come around it and it kind of falls off of my fingers. But of course, we know what happens when you get that. You get more of that spin like a top. And so what I am going to do today, I've been experimenting, I've been doing drills, and it's funny because I've been doing drills standing right at the line and bowling different ways, and I've gotten a higher score already today than I did last week when I was trying to do a challenge. So what I'm going to do is, instead of using these two fingers, I'm going to move, and I'm going to bowl with these because it gives me more space, and look at that. It comes out easy, easy, easy. Now, of course, when you're doing it slow like this, it's harder to get your fingers out than it is when you're throwing it. I can go up there and I can bowl like this with these two middle fingers, but it just doesn't feel great, and I'm not getting the ball to do what I want. I bowl a couple of shots like this and immediately get way more hook, just being more consistent with it. And if I have to try to pick up a spare and I need to throw it a little bit straighter, then I use the two middle ones. If it's a good frame and I'm shooting for a strike, I'll use these two fingers. That's what I'm going to try to do today. So let's get to the lane and let's see how we do. So to try and demonstrate this, I'm going to bowl two games. I'm going to bowl one game using my middle and ring finger. That's what I'm going to start with. And we're going to just watch the ball. I don't want you to pay as close of attention necessarily to the pins, because there's lots of other stuff that goes into getting a good score, right? My walk up, my follow through, there's all sorts of things. However, I want you to pay attention to my hand, and I want you to pay attention to how the ball reacts. particularly if I kind of come up with my fingers or if I come around it. I'm also curious if it's all just a placebo when I'm going real slow. If I bowl with my ring finger and my pinky, am I also going to come around or am I going to stay more under it? Because I've played a couple of practice games and I feel like I'm more under the ball rather than coming over the top of it, which is exactly what I've been trying to achieve. Let's get started with these two middle fingers and we'll see what we can do. See, that shot was a perfect example. I came up behind it, I stayed behind it, but particularly in that middle finger, I really felt like it caught. That finger did not really want to release, and that throw was even a little bit painful. And so let's keep going, see how this game turns out. That was a good shot, and I'll take the spare. So the ball reacted good. I stayed behind it. I got a decent curve. I got the strike. However, it's the same thing. Those two fingers really stuck in that ball. Now that wasn't the best shot. Again, there's lots of things that goes into a good shot and good result. You know, I was way too far over. However, that ball did hook and it came around. Again, try to stay more behind it, but those fingers do not feel good. One thing I want to try to show you, and I don't know if you can see this on camera, I'm going to put my thumbs. This right here is the flare lines. That is where that ball rolled. I want you to pay attention to that. I'm going to get a screenshot of this and see if I can put it side by side when I bowl with my other fingers. You're going to see a world of difference. Ball had decent hook to it. Oh, just missed the one. Wobble, 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 wobble. Missed it. Knew that as soon as the ball left my hand. Now again, that was a good angle, but you heard that double tap. That double tap was because my fingers really got caught on that ball. That was not a smooth release. That really pulled them back, and that kind of hurt my knuckles. That's the problem that I'm running in with, using those two middle fingers with this ball. You guys tell me down in the comments if you think I need to get bigger grips or maybe even get it re-drilled. We'll see what you say. Now that's one I'm really going to try to stay behind and try to bowl as straight as possible. now. I guess bowling as straight as possible was a success. The angle was a little off, but my release was a success. That looked so good, and of course it left one. Let's try bowling straight again and see if we can redeem ourselves. That was horrible. Scratched everything I just said about bowling straight again. That was a good example. It leaving my hand and it really catching my fingers in an uncomfortable way, and I just did not get the reaction that I was looking for. Yes, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it, but I'm specifically trying to pay attention to how it comes off my fingers and how those grips feel. I came around it. That kind of left more up here, kind of fell off my fingers. If you look at the coloring on the ball, you can kind of see it. It more spins like a top instead of getting a nice rotation on it. Pitiful. Way too far left. It's okay. My aim doesn't have to be good for that to be a decent roll. I'd have to look at the video to really see what happened there, but I'm having to try so hard to really get that ball to hook the right way with these two fingers that my wrist is getting tired, and I think I just caught myself coming around it again. The ball just kind of fell off and I got a little bit of hook, but definitely did not feel good and not what I'm trying to accomplish. So that does it for that game. Now let's move on to the second game with these two fingers and let's see how that compares. Now before we move on to game 2, I just wanted to jump in here. I'm recording this about a week after the footage that you just watched and the footage that you're going to see, but I just wanted to give an update about the ball. You've seen at the start of the video that I had some damage done to the ball at a bowling alley. Now, I went bowling. The game that you just watched was played on Monday, and the game that you're about to see, that was right after on Monday. A couple days later, on Wednesday, a buddy of mine got a hold of me. I got sent home from work early, wanted to go and bowl, and so we went to a different bowling alley than what I usually go to. We were in the middle of the first game when I recorded the clip you've seen at the beginning, and there was just these big kind of scratch marks and gouges in the ball. And they were really nice, and the guy up front told me, just finish out your games, hop into the pro shop, tell him that I sent you in there, and he will sand it down for you and resurface it and fix that. And they were very apologetic. And so I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. He moved us to a different lane, and we continue to play. Now we're almost done with the last game, and I just happened to look over my shoulder, just happened to turn around, and I see the guy from the pro shop come out. The lights are off, and he is locking the door. So I walk over there and I catch him, and he was trying to close up early because he had plans. And so I told him what was going on, and he said, okay, yeah, let me take it real fast and I'll get that done. And so I sent him with my ball. I just finished that game out with the house ball, and I quit recording, unfortunately, but I was just sitting there, and he finishes up and he carries it out to me, and he just hands it to me and says, here you go, it's all done. And I'm looking at the ball and I'm focused on, okay, is my ball okay? And he just hands me the ball and walks away, and he leaves. He has plans, he's ready to get out the door, and so he just takes off. And as I'm looking at the ball, I realize that there is a new spot on the ball that he had over sanded. There was a clear texture difference between everything. And if you held the ball up and kind of looked at the edge, there was a little valley and there was a groove that he sanded into the ball. And so, of course, that's not okay. So I took it back up front, told him what was going on, and I had to leave the ball with him. Now, it was there for 3 or 4 days until I got the call that it was fixed and it was done, ready to be picked up. And then it was another couple of days till I could actually go and pick it up. So here we are, Monday again, and I just picked the ball up. And I'm surprised. It looks good. I'm still going to take it to my normal pro shop and let them put it on a ball spinner, make sure it's balanced, make sure it's okay, and actually check the ball out. Because if there's still issues, you guys know this is a brand new ball. I'm going back to that bowling alley and I'm going to make them buy me another ball or make them pay to get this one fixed the right way if it's not. But so far, it looks pretty good. Now, you are about to see footage from game 2 that I played. However, because I got to go just a couple days later and got to play some more games, I played all of those games with these 2 fingers. And I can tell you, I absolutely loved it. I was playing fantastic. It was really feeling good. And I think I have just decided from this point on, as this ball sits right now, these are the fingers that I am going to be bowling with. And so I'm going to show you game 2, but before then, I'm just going to throw in this little 2-minute montage of footage that I caught on Wednesday, so you guys can just see how consistent I am with these fingers and how much I was enjoying myself bowling that way. And so off to the montage and then back to our regular scheduled programming. Good one. Another good one. It's a good one. Yeah. Okay, that does it for that game. Here we are in game 2. This time around, I'm going to be using these 2 fingers, my outside fingers, my ring finger, and my pinky. And so watch the ball, kind of see how my hand moves, and let's see, is this a better hold and a better release with this ball for me as it sits right now? I'm not saying that these 2 fingers are objectively better all the time, but I'm saying with this setup, with the way that I am throwing it, are these 2 fingers better? Let's get to it and let's see. Now I'm going to try to play some of the same lines. See, that wasn't nearly as much of a hook, but it left my hand a lot cleaner. I really felt like it came off the tips well. It didn't hurt these fingers as far as the grips hurting those fingers. My pinky's not used to the weight of the ball because I'm not used to bowling that way. And so I could tell I'd probably get a little sore doing it that way after a bit. But I'm really curious to see how the rest of this game goes and how I feel at the end bowling a full game with those fingers. Come on, guys, you know how we do this. From right to left. Just like that. Easy peasy. No problem. I don't know, it's leaving my hand cleaner, but I actually did not get a lot of hook. I haven't gotten a lot of hook, except for when I went real slow and kind of turtle rolled it as I was trying to pick up that spare, but you know, that really doesn't count. When I'm just going on a full frame, I don't know, guys, you tell me. I barely picked that up. I mean, that was real close. I thought for sure that was going to leave that outside pin. Thank goodness the other one bounced. So I'm going to move left slightly, see if I can get in the dry quicker. We'll get more of a hook on it. Well, I got more of a hook, but I definitely did not hit where I was aiming for. I am still an amateur after all. See, you all thought I missed, but that's exactly what I was trying to do, was see if I can get right between them. I'm a football fan. I believe that's 3 points. I don't even know what to say about that one. Yes, I left a pin, but that ball did exactly what I wanted it to do. And in the video, it might look like I came around it, but I didn't. I really just came up the side and just flung it right off of those fingers. I did exactly what I was trying to do with that. Well, that was just a bad throw. That was just me. That was a decent one. I'll take it. That one felt good. One thing that is throwing me off bowling this way is, of course, I'm not used to using those fingers. And so I'm having a hard time determining kind of where I want my wrist or how to hold the ball. And it's kind of strange. I can go more straight with it, but I really don't get a ton of hook that way. When I let it naturally kind of turn to the side and I'm cupping it sideways, so when I come off of it, I'm coming off like this. It feels really good, and I'm getting angle on it, but I'm having a hard time really controlling it and aiming. So it'll take a little bit of practice, but in general, I do like this. See, that looked beautiful. Yes, I hit left of the pocket. Yes, I left 2 pins. But at this point, I don't care. I might start bowling this way. I really am comfortable like that. Let's see how it goes. And it straightens up, and it gets it. How beautiful was that? Yes, I'll take it. That one was decent. As you can see from the last frame, when I was trying to hit that 10 pin, it curved, it straightened out, and it rolled straight the rest of the way. This time, it did the same thing, but it hooked farther back, and it hit the pocket. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. Yeah, I left a pin. I know. I've been saying that a lot this video. But if I can just figure out how to aim that way and have this smooth release off of my fingers, I am really going to like that ball. This is by far the most consistent amount of hook that I have seen from this ball since I have owned it. And I'm on game number 4 for me today, and it just keeps getting better and better. I don't know if these 2 fingers are the play, but I really am thinking about getting new grips in this ball because, man, the other ones I think are just too tight, and it's not letting me get that kind of flick at the end of my release that I want to get the kind of rotation that I want. And these 2 fingers, this feels nice. Not enough. Just missed it. I know you can't really see them, but using pinky ring finger, that is my flare. That's how much that ball is rotating and having those different oil lines on the ball. We'd have to look and I'll compare side by side, but I definitely think that's more. Let me tell you, it has been consistently larger this way. Whew, I love hitting those 10 pins like that. That was a beautiful shot. And if I could just hit that spot every time, let me tell you, my record is just in my sights. Forget the breaking 200 from last video. I'm shooting for 223 here soon. So stay tuned for that as we continue to work on our technique. As I try to continue to figure out this ball, I'm coming for my record. It was another decent roll. I was just a little too far right. And again, look how wide those flare marks are. That is beautiful. Yeah, I knew that was going to overhook. That's okay. Well, that does it for that game. You guys tell me down below in the comments what you guys think. Do you think I should stick with these fingers, or should I go back to my 2 middle fingers? Or do you think that I should be getting new grips or potentially getting the holes drilled a little bit bigger in this ball? You guys let me know down in the comments. Something else also that's kind of exciting is in this bowling alley here in just a couple of weeks, leagues are about to start on Tuesday nights when I typically come here to bowl. And so I am going to try to see if I can do leagues. It's 3-man teams, and I don't know if Brandon is going to be available enough to actually do it. And so it depends on if I can get people together. So if any of you are in the Dayton, Ohio area and you're interested in doing leagues with me, please just drop a comment, let me know, and we'll figure out how to get in contact with each other. Other than that, I may be able to come and be a substitute, and so I'll just kind of fill in for whoever's out that night. That's possible. We'll see. Either way, I'm going to try to get involved the best that I can. So stick around and make sure you guys drop down in the comments and tell me what you think I should do with this ball and what fingers you think I should use when I throw. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.